And do we have any public comments?
Yes, we do. But we need to do the approval of the agenda.
Yep.
Oh,
Just
okay.
making
But
sure.
yes, yeah,
Okay.
I do. I have one public comments that I have to call for.
Perfect. All right. So we can start. It's 4 o'clock. We're going to call this meeting to order. It's the Technology Committee for, let's see, what is it, August 11th, 2025. For staff, we have Mark Shohan. And the gentleman that's with you, Mark, is he just here for tech support, like AV?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Perfect. Okay. Committee members, we have myself, Mr. Ney, and we're looking for Ms. Frazier to join. And we also are joined by our chairman, Colonel Geyer. So with that, we'll call this to order. And if you guys would join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic with which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right.
Awesome. All right. And let's see. So we do need approval of the agenda. And as noted, the date on the committee meeting minutes was incorrect. It's September 30th, 2024, not 2025, but that's just a minor typo. So we fixed that. Other than that, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
I see Mr. Smith has joined us, but I do not see Ms. Frazier, so I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 2-0. All right. Robin, if you want to go ahead and proceed with public comments.
Let me see if he sent me his telephone number. Yes, hold on. It is Mr. David Cook.
Okay.
Hello, Dave.
Hello, David. I'm calling you for public comments. If you would state your first and last name, and you will begin. Hold on a second.
Sure.
We're getting the timer set, so if you give us a second, we can start.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you all hear him online?
We're good. I'm good.
All right, go ahead and start, Mr. Cook.
Okay, thank you so much. Good afternoon. This is David Cook. Wanted to speak regarding policy, technology policy. Just two things very briefly. When parents, can we try to get a policy that when parents request a website is blocked or they ask to opt out their child from an application in class link that is not normally used on a school device, can you grant that request, please? I was told it can't be done, and I'm not understanding why it can't be done. And secondly is I'd like you to adopt a technology policy that protects emails from FOIA requests. When the email is between a parent and any district employee or board member regarding a child as the student of that parent. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you. That was it for public comments.
Sorry, I muted. Thank you, Mr. Cook. What form, it kind of broke up there. What form was it that he wanted on the website?
Kind of parent request in opting out.
He wanted
Okay.
parents to be able to individually block websites for individual students and also block applications off of ClassLink, which is our single sign-on product for all of our staff and students.
Okay, fair enough.
Individual.
All right, we'll make a note of that for a future meeting. And discussion, we'll probably have to bring in Wendy Cartledge as far as FOIA goes. Okay, so first agenda item for the meeting is we need to approve the minutes from September 30th, 2024.
So moved.
Second, I don't see Ms. Frazier, right? Not yet. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so apparently this committee is turning into an annual meeting, which, I'd like to change somewhat. But let's go ahead and let's start with item number 3, the discussion of student hardware computers. We just got everything checked back in and redistributed. So do you want to talk about that, Mr. Shohan?
Yes, we're not 100% checked in and checked out. It generally takes us about 8 to 10 school days to get all that completed. We generally do about 50 to 60% of our device rollout before school ever starts. And then that last 30 to 40% is the one that takes us the longest once we get in school. But these are the damages from last school year. And it's pretty much broke down between laptops, iPads, and the various different reasons they were broken. Everything from cracked screens to configurations to damaged power ports to lost chargers, just about everything you can think of. And one of the reasons why I did want to present this is because the plan is to have a monthly report on student and staff damages going forward. So hopefully, once we go through this, we can look at some formats. I'm kind of roughly basing this on our operations report. It's going to look a little different because our data is a little different, but just trying to get some consensus on some of the graph types and some of the pretties of it.
Right. And what are you pulling this out of? What system is this dashboard coming out of?
This is called One-to-One. It's our inventory management system. Last year, at the beginning of the year, we switched from Destiny, which is a library resource management system, to One-to-One. The main reason we did that is because Destiny was not really an IT asset application. And this is more suited for that goal. We get a little bit better reporting. It's a little bit easier to review. It also makes it easier for our parents because One-to-One connects back with OSP, which is our online school payments. So that makes it more convenient for parents and for that data to be pushed out where parents can see it.
Is this data going to be part of a regular board report? Will it be published anywhere? What's the plan for the monthly report?
The plan for the monthly report is to report to y'all monthly at our committee. And then I guess we would prep the full board with it at the beginning. I don't know when operations committee does their report. Is it the first or second meeting?
It's the meeting following their committee report.
Okay, so it'd be the second meeting. So we would be reporting that during the second session of our monthly meetings for the full board.
Mr. Nade, do you have any questions?
Is there any readout of any fines or fees that we are recovering from lost chargers, destroyed computers that are beyond the maximum level of what the district absorbs?
All that would be through finance, and we can pull those reports from the finance side. We would just need to get their help with that because we don't deal with money.
Gotcha.
But that can be done.
Mr. Smith, Colonel, did you have a question? I'm sorry, Mr. Nade, did you have another one?
No, I was just saying, I think that would be helpful. So we know that we can be transparent about, if a kid destroys their computer, then are we recovering the funds to replace it and that kind of stuff, as opposed to just absorbing everything by the district. That's all.
Okay. Mr. Smith or Colonel Geyer, do you have a question?
Oh, ma'am.
I have one other couple questions just real quick. As you know, I brought up, because one of my concerns is I know we pay extra for more rugged computers, correct? And are they still Dells? Is that what I recall correctly?
HP.
HP. Okay.
Yes.
And we do pay for the school version, which is supposed to be more rugged, right? So we pay a premium for that?
Yes. The base cost for our devices is around $500 before you add the 1 time per year breakage and the absolute software that we use to track the device. that adds that extra 200 and something dollars to the cost of the device.
So the one-time breakage and then tracking software is $200 per device?
Well, for both of those together is about $260. The tracking software, which is good for 4 years, called Absolute Software. It's installed actually on the motherboard. So if somebody steals one of our devices, images it and tries to use it in Atlanta, another country, we partner with Absolute Software who can track that device for us. And once we brand it stolen, they're in charge for recovering that device. We don't go out and look for it, and they do a lot of the middleman work.
How often do we have to do that? How often do we use them?
Anytime there's a device that's considered stolen, most of the devices that we have are considered missing or stolen. Because we ask for parents, and it's in our policy that within 24 hours of they're realizing that their device or their kid's device has been stolen, that they need to do a police report and to notify school administration. Most of the time, these are just missing, and what we do is we end up finding that the kid left it on the bus, and usually it's 3 or 4 days later, and that device gets back to the child.
And I didn't realize that we were paying that one-time usage thing was actually an added cost, because that is essentially we're all paying for when everyone's paying for their first time sort of device breakage, right? It's a little bit of an insurance policy. Is that through HP or is that through something else?
That is through HP. I can't think of the name, but it's their advanced protection plan. So they allow one breakage per device per school year. And that could be anything from a full screen breakage to a kid picking the keys off their laptop, their keyboard, and us having to replace.
And this was sort of a personal thing you and I had talked about. And because I'm looking at the chart that you have that's color coded, the color coded is very nice. I can't see which high school or school is lined up with which chart, right?
The charts were mainly I threw in there to kind of give y'all an idea of some of the ways we could present data and which kind of ways you would like to see it. I didn't really scale it to be very informative for this meeting, but just to give y'all some ideas of.
The reason I'm asking, and it's actually, it's an individual, but it's also sort of something I think the district should look at. So there's one that's the one that we and I talked about was that there seemed to be an unusually high number of damaged chargers, right? This was a new model we went to in the refresh for high school kids. And at least at the Hilton Head High School, I had a lot of complaints about a bunch of kids. And I think you said it was 30% of the chargers that were turned in. I think that's what the gentleman told me at the school, which seemed unusually high. So is that the big pink one up there? Is that Hilton Head High that's got a very large pink section? Because you see there's a wide degree of variability in that one. It's like the puce pink one, Robin. It's up. Yeah.
Here.
Go to the right. I mean, move it over because it's at the end of the thing. Yeah, that one there. See, we see it there. Is that Hilton Head High, or is there, in other words? And the reason I ask this is because I think there's some very. That's what?
That pinkish would be the color for the laptop power adapter or cord.
So the one that's about 4 times the average, is that Hilton Head High's bar graph?
Yes.
Okay, so these are the kind of things that if we get good data, and I think this is nice, something clearly is amiss there, right? Because you've got a new charger set. Now, it could be that when looking at this data, I'm like, so do we have a vendor problem with the charger? It doesn't look like it because it looks like it's fairly consistent across the board, right? But you see that outlier, was that a staff training issue? Mark,
149 is what we got for the total number of, I'm sorry. Get back there. Yeah, the power adapter or cord at Hilton Head High was 149.
Which compares to?
at a roughly 1,200 and I think 80 kids was our student count for Hilton Head last year. I don't have that number in front of me. So
I'm
that
more
will
interested in the comparisons. Robin, you can quit moving back because it's making me dizzy. But what I'm saying is when I look at this data, you can see some clear outliers. And I think it's worth it to kind of check in and say, if whatever that bar is, if it's Hilton Head or if it's another school or whatever, that purple puce bar is quite a bit out of line. And that's what I had heard from constituents as well. And I see some blue bars that look like they're quite a bit bigger. I think then we need to dig in and see if that is if there's a problem with the equipment itself, because this was a first year for that refresh. And if it's an outlier for a school, because I think he told me he thought about 30% of the laptops were coming in broken, which would be, you know, when I calculated in my head, that'd be $20,000 worth of damage, right? That they had to collect from students. So I just want to say, as we use this graph, however we want to talk about the chargers, but as we use this graph, we should be looking at these outliers in the data and figuring out what's going on. I don't see anything else that really jumps out at me that dramatically. I mean, clearly the purple, which is laptop cracked screen, you expect it to be bigger in the middle schools. Or you've got to, this is not a percentage graph. So May River is going to be bigger than, you know, Battery Creek, obviously.
It appears by the data that we have about 13 to 14% charger damage at Hilton Head High. And it was one of our higher high schools.
And like I said, I just had a lot of people complaining, but I do think when you present this data visually, it'd be good to look at, if we're going to be able to break it down by all of these subcategories that we have here, right? From iPad charging issue to data ports, et cetera. We should look at percentages and compare to see if we're identifying problems as we do a refresh cycle, that, you know, there's something on that particular device that seems to have a high failure rate. Or if there's something in the school specific, and usually if there's a big discrepancy in the school, I would assume that there was like a staff kind of issue when they're taking it in, that there's some level of variability about whether or not it's determined to be broken or not. Does that make sense?
It does, yes.
So that's what I'm looking at, these I like the color coding, but I really would like to see percentages by subcategory broken down by school so we can find areas that there's an issue. Anything else on the charts and graphs? Other board members?
Yes, I do have a question.
Mr. Smith, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to go back to your question. You asked Mr. Shohan about how regularly are we tracking computers, and I don't think that question was answered. I heard reasoning behind it, but for clarity, the question remains of how regular are we actually tracking the stolen or lost devices?
We do track them, and even though it's marked lost in our system, most of the time we find those usually within a week. That's about our average time that a student's device is lost before it goes into full stolen category. And if you like, I could break those into two separate categories, and it might make the data a little bit clearer to separate between lost and stolen.
Well, quite frankly, I think I'm looking for more of a number, as in six times from a various school, altogether maybe 30 times a year. I'm looking for numbers. That's what I'm looking for. Not about how many times. Go ahead.
I think Mr. Smith and I have the same question. I don't want to paraphrase you, Mr. Smith, so tell me if I'm wrong. My question is, if we're paying, how much, we don't know how much Absolute is versus the HP Advanced Security, right? But if we've actually had to use Absolute many times, making it a worthwhile investment, because what I will say, and I know Mr. Smith and I have talked about this before, this is not an optional charge, right? Every student has to have a device, and $600 and some, is a significant expense. All these little, $50 for a charger. I think it was like $600 for a screen repair, if I recall correct, or there was some kind of heavy number. But these are big expenses for family, and we did have some issues with middle schoolers. So the question is, how often are we needing to use this Absolute software?
We definitely use it a couple of times a month at least, for anytime somebody reports a device is lost. We can go through and look at Absolute and it will tell you the last node or geolocation that it connected to the internet. So as long as that device, once it leaves our campus, it will show us where it was at on our campus. And once it leaves our campus, once it geolocates to the internet, it will tell us where it's at, because a lot of times kids will say it's lost and then we geolocate it back to the child's address. So then we can tell the parents, hey, it looks like that device reported in at 7:30 this morning at this residence. Could you please look at your house?
Okay. Does that answer your question, Mr. Smith? You can get more specific numbers from Absolute, but I don't think we have any specific numbers today.
And for the full screen replacement, it's $289.
Okay.
And that is for the screen, the LCD screen and the digitizer behind it. The screen's about $170, and then the digitizer is like $110. But now those are combined because of the wisdom of HP, and that's one product we buy. So every time a cracked screen, we have to buy both of them.
Well, to be honest with you,
yeah, go ahead.
I would say, to be honest with you, that really does not suffice for my answer. When we're paying this kind of money for this type of equipment, I want to know what I'm paying for, and that does not really suffice. I like to know how much we're using it, and versus guessing. I'll like to be able to show that it is something that we're using regularly in terms of numbers use that we're getting out of it. And in terms of, for instance, I have if I lose my laptop, I can track it. I can track it on my phone, or you have something like find your iPhone. If you have AirBuds, you can track it. And so every time you track it, then I'm sure that's a mark, so you can know, hey, we had to use it this amount of time. So therefore, that tells me whether it's something that I need, or is needs versus want. And I see that we need numbers to understand and see needs versus want in this situation. So that's what I'm looking for, straight numbers. It doesn't have to be a conversation. I'm just looking for whether to see on the totem pole, is it a bill that we need to keep, or is it a bill we need to get rid of? Thank you.
Okay, so maybe at another meeting, we can get some numbers directly out of Absolute Software, Mr. Shohan.
Yes.
Okay. And then the only other question I have is kind of unrelated to this. You brought up something, and I'm curious. This is, my son that just graduated is my third kid, so you get a little lax, right? So this could be a me problem. But you said that parents know that if their laptop has been missing for 24 hours to file a police report. That is news to me. Mr. Ney, did you know that? I'm putting you on the spot, sorry.
He said no.
No, I did not. Sorry.
Yeah, is that in the technology AUP, or is that on the website? Because this is going to segue into my next question.
It is in the AUP that's signed yearly by parents and students.
Okay, so I think what I'd like to do, so we've kind of concluded the stuff that we had just to check off on this agenda, because obviously we haven't met since September. And I thought maybe we could use the rest of this meeting to just kind of talk about some issues that I think technology committee through the board could hopefully kind of guide some of the full board on looking at some of these technology issues, because they are becoming incredibly more important day by day. I mean, the stuff that I'm hearing about out in the world about how technology is being used and being altered, obviously with artificial intelligence and all these different things. I think technology is a massively important aspect of the district. And right now, I don't think it gets the attention it deserves. And so what I'd like to talk about at a future board meeting, we can have a little bit of a conversation and figure out how to structure this, because these are all kind of broad and wide topics. But one thing is, we do not have, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Shohan, but you are still under the finance department, correct?
That's correct.
And your title is?
Technology Services Officer.
Okay. I did research into the top 20 comparably sized district. I think Beaufort, if I recall, is like number 10. biggest districts. So obviously they've got Greenville, they've got Charleston and Horry County are bigger, but a lot of districts are in our range as well. And of those, they all have either a CISO, a Chief Information Security Officer, or a Chief Technology Officer, or a Director of Technology. And with a technology services offer, I underneath the finance department, I don't think Mr. Shohan has the capacity and the bandwidth he needs to be strategic as far as like setting some technology policy. And I think the district really needs to invest somewhat in technology strategy. So I'd like to open up just like a general discussion about, Mr. Shohan, sharing your thoughts as far as what you see the role of the technology services officer versus a CISO, just in a general sense, and what changing that role or expanding that role into having someone. I personally, as an information technology person, I'm more of a data person. I like CISO because it takes it off of like the hardware and the network focus and expands it to include strategy, software, et cetera. So can you just explain what you see, in your opinion, the difference between how your role is defined and how a CISO at somewhere like Horry County or Aiken or Lexington, Richland 5 would function?
The biggest difference is it's going to be hard for us to get technically a CISO because they're a security operation. And with that one certification, having that CISSP certification, your starting salary is going to be about 150 to 175 a year. So a lot of times it's hard for us to get a person with that certification in a public facility. It's harder with our salary scales. But as for the technology officer, director, all those are executive director, all of those are basically on the same scale until you move up to chief technology officer, which kind of puts you up more on the policy side.
So in your opinion, the chief technology officer is more policy focused? Because my mindset, you have like a chief information in healthcare, you have a chief information officer, and then you have a chief technology officer. And usually chief technology officer is really focused on, network security, hardware, devices, endpoint, all that. And the information officer is more software, data analysis, integrations.
The one way we get around that is we have a network operations director, and my network operations director is more of my hardware server guy. Okay. And I do more of the policy and software and compatibility side of the house.
That's more you?
Yes.
Okay. Kind of your voice drifted off there.
Sorry about that.
No. So you're sort of more in the software, and then you kind of share your role with the network operations director.
Yes.
Okay. I would like to open it up to the rest of the board to see if they have any thoughts or comments on just a general topic of, do we need to sort of expand the capabilities of districts in the technology and get more strategic? It's going to cost money. I think Mr. Shohan, in my opinion, would be, has done a lot of this, but, it's not the same role if you're sort of a technology services officer under finance. But it could be just semantics. So what do you guys think?
Colonel Geyer's hands up.
Please, I'm sorry, I had my visuals down. Colonel Geyer.
Yes, Madam Chair. It seems to me that this is a rapid moving train in technology, and users are focused on the day-to-day requirements and just trying to keep what they've got going. And they don't have the capacity to keep up with what's happening in the technology field. People that do have that are generally focused only on that. And they also go out and consult and come in and tell users, okay, this is what we see near term. This is what we see far term. This is how we think you're going to need to have staff for this function, maybe be less and more into another function. we just don't have the size and scope to be able to do that on our own. And it seems to me that there are vendors out there that can come in on every year, every couple of years. I'm not sure how often, for a fee to say, okay, this is what's happening right now. This is what's going to happen. We think it's 6 months. This is in 2 years, 4 years, and so on, so that we can have and then make decisions based on somebody's or some consultants, somebody with expertise in that area of where we need to be and how we need to be structured to cope with the future in technology. Just a thought.
Okay. So that would be a thought to see if there's a different way we could structure it. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm saying this would have to be a continuous process. This couldn't be a one-time consulting come in, we're done, because in 2 years, the environment's changed. This is going to be something you have a relationship with a consulting firm, and you say, okay, you come in, you give us an evaluation of where we are now, give us some options of where we think each consultant thinks you should be, near term, far term. And then when we get to near term, we say, okay, we did this, but what's next? And what's next? So it would be a relationship with a consultant, because that would be important. So you don't have to start over from scratch with a consultant knowing about your organization. But I am certain that there are vendors out there, and we could go out and put in a request for proposal to see what would come up. Doesn't cost us anything. We could have them come in and give a pitch on what their services are and what their costs are, and make a decision from there.
I think that sounds interesting. I'm just trying to figure out, I think point how to be more proactive and less reactive, and figure out a way to start looking down the road at how all this stuff is going to work together. And like I said, I think Mr. Shohan would be great to do some strategy. Well, in my opinion, we need more strategy on the technology side. I mean, the information's useful, and looking at charts and the numbers and the number of tickets. But personally, I don't think the board has a real clear grasp on what technology is doing. And I think that there's a lot of interest in the community in improving technology and adding to our technology. And then, of course, you've got the impact that AI is having on education almost more than anything else. So it'd be, in my opinion, we just need to sort of figure out a way to make technology a more prominent part of what the district is working on. So it may be that a consultant would be the best way to sort of attack it, because I feel at a loss for sure. Mr. Ney, do you have any comments?
Yes. Mr. Guy, if I'm understanding you correctly, you're basically saying that maybe not hire somebody full time with this capability, but just bring somebody in as a consultant every couple years, maybe every 2 to 3 years. Is that basically what I understand?
Basically, right.
Okay. I'm not opposed to that particular method, or that I guess scheme of maneuver. But if that's something that we're gonna pursue, I think we need to do it and bring them in immediately the first time. I think what you said about bringing somebody in now and having them explain some fees and levels of support sooner rather than later. I mean, we just as a district went to electronic tickets for our maintenance things, so we're pretty far behind the 8 ball. I think there is a lot of room of improvement where we can streamline and make our processes across the district more efficient and less costly. Yeah, as far as that goes, I mean, maybe you start when superintendent starts his funding or his budget analysis and all that kind of stuff. We start looking at somebody with a director level position Understanding, of course, as Mr. Schoen was saying, that trying to bring somebody into that caliber is going to take some time and some recruiting effort and all that kind of stuff, on full time, anyways. But I mean, it's worth having a conversation when we're talking about the budget for next year, at the very least.
And Mr. Smith, is
Um,
he still there? He looks, oh, there he is,
yeah.
sorry.
Yes, I have a couple concerns about this, but also I think that this is a definitely a sleep on I'm going to sleep on this for my response, but I do think that it seems around talking in the talk around, it's about getting more bang for your buck. Is what it seems to be the number one concern in about getting actual results. So saying that, I think that I'm going to sleep on how to remedy this, but I did hear what Mr. Geyer said, but my my question and one of my concerns, even with that, is if you get this consultant once a year, how much will that consultant cost? Because consultants aren't cheap. And so versus paying for them every once or twice a year, I mean, or twice a year or twice every 2 years, will that person be more meaningful long term, getting more bang for you in terms of getting more bang for your buck on staff versus that once a year pitch? And how innovative will you keep that person? So I just want to brush me up on this topic a little bit prior to speaking and speaking into it. And I think that this could be maybe a great future topic. I think that we should revisit this conversation. Also, what other topics do we have out there from prior meetings from today?
What other topics mean left over from September of 2025?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think the main thing one of the things we were trying to work on, we had talked about was, artificial intelligence, and sort of put a pin in the conversation, because to my understanding, we are still not allowing access to any AI type software, correct, Mr. Shohan?
No, the school district has locked in on Magic School
All right.
for teachers and staff, and then staff members can still use your Chat GPT.
I meant for students. Students aren't having any access to AI.
Yeah, for students, only Magic School.
Okay. And then we have been talking about an ongoing topic about, breakage, fees, and fines, which we now have this new one-to-one, which I have to say, the fact that we just started tracking inventory outside of Destiny, the library, software. I mean, that's a statement. That's something. So this one-to-one looks great. I like, we're going to get better data going forward. So those were the two things that I was aware of. What other things am I missing, Mr. Smith?
I know I requested some topics prior to that. I'm not sure. Maybe Mrs. Cushenberry have a running list of our future topics for this committee.
Okay. Well, she's looking at that. So yeah, sorry, you have that ready, Ms. Cushenberry?
The only future topic that we have left that we haven't addressed that was moved forward was the parent community SIC committee that you had spoke about.
Right. Well, I do think that was one of the other things. And I kind of had that in my head about using technology and getting parents to engage on this to a certain extent. Because as we see, you have two parents on the committee here, and neither of us knew that we were supposed to call the police within 24 hours of a district device going missing. I don't think parents are reading that technology AUP. And again, I'm assuming it's on our website somewhere, right?
Yes, it is.
And it's district-wide, it's not school specific?
District-wide.
Okay. But I think that, parents kind of like, sure, whatever, sign it, just get the device during registration, and aren't really necessarily as clued in to some of the things. And so it comes as a shock sometimes when you get a fee or different things. But what I think is interesting to me is there a way that we could make the website through use of some sort of technology where parents could get plain natural language answers to questions. Certainly the technology exists. Currently we are using, when you go to our website, what is that we're using again? For our ARs, there's some sort of thing that came back in like 2008. My computer just froze up, sorry. You know what I'm talking about, Mr. Shohan?
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the name of the app. It was state provided.
Yeah, and it's like 15 years old, right?
Yes.
Okay, so just for the public and the board's edification, our ARs, if you are a parent with a question about an AR, you click on the website, you go to ARs, or administrative regulations, and it pulls up this boardpolicyonline.com/location Beaufort, all right? And you basically, it is very dated technology. There is a search, but if I were to search, something not completely specific, you're going to get about 17 hits. And the only way to go through it is to manually open, and you have to open several iterations. You have to open coherent governance versus administrative regulations versus, operating ARs versus school service ARs. And then there's some of them are in Spanish, and you have to go through and find the PDF. And then the PDF is not really written for general consumption. It's more or less written to have it technically complying with the fact that the ARs are listed on our regulation. So I don't think many parents know about this. I don't think, oh, we do have a new translate button. That's new. Is that a new thing? I just saw that. You can translate the whole thing into Spanish because for a while, half of it was in, yeah. So so now it's translated. It's got Google Translate built in. But when I look at other more, I think, tech forward districts, they have abandoned this, 15-year-old website format. And the thing is, I think it would be so helpful for parents to be able to go to the website and type in, what do I do if my kid can't find their laptop? And it would pull up like some sort of retrieval augmented generation, type of thing, like according to the technology AUP, after 24, and give them the steps, certainly with discipline. That kind of like changes that would allow parents to engage, because our website is full of information. It is not particularly easy to maneuver past the homepage, and trying to find things. So it was just something I thought maybe it'd be an idea of something we could work on to start introducing AI to help parents engage with the school district. But I mean, right now it's hard to find stuff. And I would say, I don't think parents are all that informed about ARs and discipline matrix. I know they're not informed about discipline matrix. So I don't know if that's something we could do. Are you trying to get the thing up there, Robin?
No, it's up there. I didn't know where else you wanted to go. I just pulled up the online and I did pull up the policy. Where do you want to go?
Go to About Us, Administrative Regulations, which again, most parents don't know that it's called.
Yeah.
And there it is. So if you want to find out the discipline matrix, Robin, try to find the discipline matrix. 1 click, 2 clicks. And Robin knows where it is.
Progressive discipline 18 or 17.
It might be SS 16 disciplines of students with disabilities.
Okay. I can't see. 18 progressive. Yeah.
There it is.
Where's the matrix? Scroll down.
Keep scrolling.
I guess. Isn't there? The matrix is on there somewhere.
The
Oh,
matrix is-
you know what? It's exhibit SS-18E4.
Very last week.
Progressive discipline.
So far, we're at 6 clicks.
There it is.
Now, if your kid has been caught in violation of, let's say, drinking outside of school, how would you find that? So first you got to go through all the definitions of all the different, you get the point. The point is, it's made the discipline matrix not useful outside of the district office and possibly the school board when we review it annually. And it's not because the information's not there, but in 2025, is there not a way I think this would be a simple thing to undertake. I think it would provide tremendous ease and with parents engaging and understanding a little bit about what the consequences are for cutting class, for cheating, for contraband. First occurrence, second occurrence, third occurrence definition. I mean, there's good information here. It's just not accessible to most people unless you're really, really determined, right? So, Mark, how realistic would it be to add something here to modernize this, just the ARs, as just a first step and say, this boardpolicyonline.com that the state gave us 15 years ago is not up to snuff, and we're going to, what would be the process to fixing that?
AI engine, and put it into an AI database.
Yeah, we would definitely need to talk with communications and the website provider to see if there is options for back-end AI and how much that would cost, because there's always going to be some type of fee for them to provide that services, because they would have to have more data rates going out to look that information up. I don't think it would be a ton, but I'm not sure, but it's definitely something we could look into.
This is where I think technology is being underused in the public schools, but this may just be my own personal crusade. But I was just trying to find some bite-sized thing that we could start looking at and saying, here's something that's clearly out of date that has immediate impact to the schools. How hard would it be to do something different? So I don't know if we want to make that a future topic, or if this is just me sort of looking at it like I would look at it where I work.
Yeah, I would definitely need to do some research and talk with a couple of departments to get some more insight into it. And then we would have to make some discussions out to the actual provider to find out what is available.
Because the thing is, it's me sort of as the chair of technology saying something that I'd like to see, which is not really what committees do, right? But I wonder if the operational expectation for technology could be find ways to engage parents and reduce clicks. And I don't know, Colonel Geyer, as the chair of the full board, what do you think would be a valid approach to have as a technology chair, I'm not sure what motion I would bring out. I'm not sure what's appropriate. So I'd love some feedback.
I believe you could make a motion from your committee report that the board tasked Dr. Rodriguez to do a search of how to make, and then you could use this one particular example to see what it would cost, how much it's not a matter, could you do it? We know how to do it. You have to have a back end, you have to have an AI type, be able to read the question, no matter how it's formatted, and put you right to the answer. But I think you could easily make a motion to say, take one subject to make it easier for parents to access. And you could say this subject, for example, and say for Dr. Rodriguez to explore the cost and how fast something like this could be implemented.
Mr. Ney is the other committee person here. What are your thoughts on this?
I'm just wondering if and I'm not trying to diss anybody on the staff or where we're at right now, but it seems like right now we are so far behind the eight ball that just this logistically seems like too huge of a leap forward as far as implementing technology. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. But it's like I said, we just went to an e-ticket for maintenance, for trouble tickets. So like maybe this is a logical step forward. Maybe it seems like we're going from 1990 to 2025 too fast, and we haven't hit all the benchmarks in between. But it's I don't know. I don't know what the feasibility of is this something that's ahead of what we have some other basic benchmarks to accomplish. Maybe this could open the door to other things. I'm not, as far as technology goes, I'm not sure if in the cycle of progression, level of technology escalation, how far up the ladder is this from where we're at? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think that's my ultimate dilemma for the technology committee is what realistically can we drive? How can we realistically drive policy, right? Because we're not trying to drive actual actions. I'm not trying to say I want the technology department to do this. I'm just trying to figure out a way to start looking at how do we drive the district to adopting more technology and to coming up with more innovative solutions and to getting all of our ticketing systems, because I am an older parent, and I expect it to be different than this. I would imagine that the younger parents' expectations are even far. I will give you an example just for fun. I had a very smart, one of our top students in the district working with me this summer, and I was doing something. So I asked her to help me out because I have horrible handwriting. I asked her to, we had to send out about 20 letters by mail. And I said, could you print out and mail out these letters? And she put the address where the stamp would go because she had never mailed a letter. And had not seen had no interaction with mail whatsoever. So here's where our students are at, right? Here's where our district is at. I have a lot of confidence in Mr. Shohan's ability to do more innovative strategic thinking. I think we need financial support and I think we need buy-in from other parts of the district. I just don't know how to do that. I don't know how to, and to a certain extent, until we figure out that pathway, having these meetings are not going to be all that useful.
I think probably a good place to start would be the consultant that has been brought up. Getting a consultant in sooner rather than later will tell us, somebody that's an expert in the field can tell us exactly how far behind we are and maybe where the basic steps to start that open the door to other advanced technologies that we can start building on. That to me seems like a good model to start with.
The rest of you on the board agree with that?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that, but to me, this has been a conversation that this has been like we've had this conversation. To be honest with you, I'm sitting here listening. Is like we've had this conversation a long time ago. We had this conversation years ago that the district website has been too difficult to navigate on, and how do you find stuff? And parents and people even came to board meetings years ago and have said, listen, the website, you can't find nothing on. That was the point of us changing from the last website to this website. If my memory serves me correctly, this website was supposed to be easier. It was supposed to be much more quicker to navigate, and information was supposed to come quicker. So I'm kind of not trying to say nothing because I have most of mixture. I just kind of have some concerns and emotions here because we can't keep having these conversations and going out and jumping on something and it's still not funding a service. To be honest with you, even prior to even getting the person we just talked about bringing in Mr. Nate, the consultant in. Prior to even getting the consultant in, I think we need to have a meeting with a list of things that we're looking for out of the consultant once they get here. Hey, this is the to-do list. This is what we're looking for. Can you do this, or can you tell us about these things? I think we need to have a list of things that we're looking for this consultant and for technology to be heading for. Because just bring the consultant in and let them tell us, you can bring a pilot in and the pilot will tell you, hey, look here, you know you want to go to Jamaica, the pilot comes in and say, hey, look here, I want to take you to the Grand Canyon. But you don't want to go to Jamaica. But it's about what is he going to come in and what product is he going to sell that he's more comfortable with. So we don't want nobody just come in and tell us about what product they're more comfortable in. What do we really want to get by bringing this person in? So we need, and this year here, I'm going to be in the results section. And the results is, I'm looking for results. All the talk around, I'm not up for that. I'm looking for straight results. So what results do we want? Why are we getting this person to come in? Because we ought to be reminded that we do have taxpayers' dollars that we're spending and people are looking. So with that being said, hey, what was the point of bringing the consultant? And you just not long ago changed websites. It was not long ago we changed websites. So what's the results that we're looking for bringing that person in?
I think that's Smith. And I think for the website, first of all, acknowledge that we've made a lot of improvements on the website. A lot of improvements, sort of a back end, front end. the website looks nicer, it's a little easier to navigate, but when you're trying to get at this information that a parent might be trying to get at, it's just not as user friendly because the back end, the data is still kind of being held in a old fashioned vessel of sorts. But I think that's where we were going with the parent SIC, because I think one thing that is missing is, are we talking to parents about their experiences using technology, getting information from, on ARs, the AUP for technology? What are their goals? Because I do think from what I hear out and the other parents in the communities, technology is everyone's kind of freaked out about it right now. And, the job market's drying up in a lot of industries because it's being replaced by AI. And so parents are concerned, like, what are we doing to get our kids ready for this rapidly approaching future? And I'm not sure. So I think maybe we do need to figure out somehow, because I don't think the 11 of us on the board can really make an assessment of here's what, we're not the experts on, education technology, but I think that we got more feedback from the community, from the SIC, this might be a great thing to take to SICs and say, what would you like to see improved? What would you like to see value added at Beaufort County School District that can use technology? If we're going to say we're willing to spend some money, I don't know if we have it, but we're if the board's willing to commit some resources of some kind to improving the end user experience, essentially. I don't know. I think that might be worth doing just before we bring in a consultant. But it sounds like, I don't know, Mr. Shohan, what do you think?
I'm all for bringing in a consultant, and I do agree that a SIC would be a good place to bring in community and parent concerns. It might pinpoint 5 or 6 goals that we're really trying to drive towards, to know what we really want to get in the end product.
And not just SICs, Ms. Ball, right? I mean, you have communities as well that some parents aren't SIC. Just like I had a parent the other day who when we were talking about what's the name of the program that we have that parents can go on and look at their kids' grades and stuff like that?
Power School.
Power School. So if we have parents that are using Power School, and that's another question I would like to know in this district, how many parents do we actually have that are actually utilizing Power School? Because to me, that is a part of parent engagement. Because the parents are engaged in Power School and they're really looking, and that shows an interest. And I've also had parents who have called me and asked me, "Hey, where can I find the matrix on the website?" And I had to call somebody myself to time and look for it. I've had to sit there and try to just like how y'all just said, about 6, 7 clicks myself. So in saying that, the people probably would engage if we make it more people friendly. And so making it more people friendly, I don't think that's a question, because that question comes to me a lot. And then you said the questions come to you. So if the parents are using the Power School, then if the website is not people friendly, that's upon us to make it people friendly so that people can use it and people can get comfortable with it. So it's not a question about whether the 11 board members are whether we are wickedly smart in this. It comes out to them just good common sense. And good common sense is that we decided that we know that we need this website to be more people friendly, to where people can have you can have a box, you can type a question in, and the website can give you information that you need. I mean, we just sitting here and meeting. We've already decided that we all think we all are in common agreement that that needs to take place. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nay.
Yes. I mean, I don't know why we haven't thought about this so far, but history has proven that common sense is not a common virtue. But I will say that, I mean, there's no reason why we can't survey our staff, survey the administration, survey our parents, and survey our students and ask them if we're going to make technology improvements, where should we put some of our effort at? What would you like to see in technological improvement? And see where it goes. I mean, we survey for the budget, and we survey for all these other things. I mean, we survey the community over our face change and everything else. So why can't we survey the community and all the stakeholders for movements in technology? Makes sense to me.
Beautiful. So maybe then what we could do, Mr. Shohan, is before we get a consultant, how hard would it be either to mimic like the budget process or something to develop some sort of a survey instrument? Because you would have to think about the questions you were asking and how you're asking them, right? Because that's a big part of how you're getting feedback. I wouldn't want to just send out and be like, what would you like changed, about technology? Like, what software are you using? How helpful is the software, of these software programs you're using? I think that would be interesting to do. Is that realistic, Mr. Shohan, that we could start working on some sort of way, if we had a motion coming out of the board to do a survey of technology in the district?
Absolutely. We have licenses for SurveyMonkey. We use them pretty regularly to get feedback from staff, community members. It would be very easy to set up. But like you said, the hardest part is the questions. What do we want to ask? The survey can't be too long because the parents will get bored and won't fill it out. In general, if we put out a survey, to 4,000 people, we're lucky to get 1,500 to respond.
I'll take 1,500 responses for sure. I think we need different surveys. I think we need a admin survey, a school staff survey, a parent survey, and a student survey at a minimum, because those are different questions, right? So I don't know if we can combine. I think it would be kind of cumbersome, but it's getting to be 5 o'clock. And like I said, I'm frustrated just because I'd like to do more. I'm not sure how to do it, but I feel like this is an evolving plan. If we can have a motion, if there's support for it here in the committee, to ask Mr. Shohan to begin to develop a survey instrument to assess, how people are feeling about technology. I'm sure there's a better way to phrase that. And then at our next meeting, we could review the initial sort of thing, and if the board supports that initiative, that could be our future couple of meetings, is sort of working on getting that survey together and out and seeing the feedback from that before we hire a consultant. Does that sound like a reasonable plan, Mr. Ney?
Yes, I'm just trying to figure out how to word the motion. So I move that we present to the board a motion to direct the superintendent to survey and implement the response, I guess, in moving forward with consulting on our technological issues.
You got a lot of words in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to cover it all. Recommend to the board that the superintendent look at our technology issues and implement surveys and any other necessary requirements. I don't know.
That sounds good.
I was thinking something more simple of I think that we move forward with that we make a motion to move forward to the board to do a survey on the technology department, and then bring those results back to us, because once we get those results, then we will have to have, I think there would need to be another conversation upon where do we go at now from those results and what we're looking for. So I think that's simple, clean, I mean, yeah.
Somebody put it in Chat GPT.
I'm going to chat you. I'll use that thing.
All right, because we need to give something to Robin, but I think we get the gist. Mr. Colonel Geyer, do you have any thoughts or comments on this?
Are you directing the superintendent to do a survey, or what? This committee?
Yeah, we have to direct the superintendent, right? That's we direct other people.
So this committee is directing the superintendent to move forward with a survey.
Technology climate survey.
A technology climate survey.
Ooh, there you go. Does that work for everybody?
Exactly. Yes.
And then I'll bring out my report that our expectations are that we will include administrative, staff, teachers, students, and parents. That it's not that it needs to be a broad scope. But I like that.
Climate survey.
Did I mention I play drums for a living? Yeah, so.
I mentioned I do tech for a living,
I
but
move
still
that the technology committee direct the superintendent to provide a technology climate survey.
Is that enough, y'all?
Send it.
Got
Okay,
it.
so I second that, since Mr. Ney is making it in by proxy. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, then we'll bring that forward to the full board and see if that gets us anywhere. And then can we plan another meeting while everyone's here?
Can I get a future agenda topic,
Yeah.
Madam Chair?
Yes, please.
Our current ISP internet service provider is Hargrave House Park Lights.
Yes.
Right.
When was the last time we negotiated a contract with them?
Less than a year ago.
And was there any competition?
Yes. We had Brightspeed, CenturyLink,
Okay, all
I
right,
think AT&T.
all right. The reason I bring that up is I changed to Brightspeed, and Brightspeed, since I've had it, it's had 0 outages, and Hargrave had at least several. And I'm wondering if we should consider changing ISP providers based on the problems we've had with Hargrave.
The hardest thing about our area is that we're a community of islands.
Understand?
We have a lot of choke points where all those fibers from different parts of the state come into our county and leave our county going down to Georgia. So those are your two main ingresses, right there going down your Hardyville track and going out your Hampton track of all the fibers coming into this county. And unfortunately, there's only about 4 providers, and all of those providers do not cover the whole county, except for Hargrave had the most fiber in the county. But even trying to get a backup, because we have our secondary data center south of the Broad, and we were looking for another provider, and we were looking at AT&T. But AT&T backhauls a lot of their fiber over Hargrave. So, and AT&T backhauls all your cell phone signals. So we found out that all your cell phone towers go out at the same time that Hargrave goes down. So one of the ways we did made some way to get around that is we do have 2 internet circuits now. We have our main one here at the district office, and we have one south of the Broad. Because if anything happens at the Broad River, it splits us in half because there's only one fiber trunk line coming across the Broad River to join the 2 sides of the county. So at least now we do have a secondary egress. So our school should maintain communications, at least half of them, in a given fiber outage. Unless you have the perfect storm like we had last Christmas with Hargrave, where we had Pooler, Georgia, Hardyville, Hampton, 4 things happen at once. That was just the perfect storm to bring us down for a 24-hour period. But in the grand scheme of things, we generally never go more than about 12 hours with a outage. And generally speaking, we don't have more than about 2 outages a year. And this has been over the last 6 years. So it's hard to justify investing a lot of money and having a secondary pipe that's not being used. And that's one of the things we have to juggle right now with E-rate funds is you can't have a backup pipe to run data. If you're not using it, according to E-rate and federal standards, you don't need it. There can be no spare, no backup, any of that verbiage will immediately get that request denied by the federal government. So we do a lot of things to give us backup options without a backup sitting there cold. Sorry about that. I kind of went off on a tangent there.
I think it's worth a discussion because I think we should be told about how many times we've had breakdowns.
I've got that list. Yeah.
And we should have a discussion of whether or not we inform Hargrave about our dissatisfaction and what they're doing to make it more reliable or something. Or we change vendors or whatever. But
Robin, for our next meeting, hopefully we'll have a follow-up to the survey decision. I mean, I don't expect a fully executed survey or anything like that, but we'll have it to the board because I think we'll bring this up at the work session. And then we can, our next meeting, maybe start talking about, start seeing what that will look like or hammering out the process a little bit more. And then we can have, I don't know if we want to continue to talk about a consultant until we get a little bit further on the survey. I'm up for suggestions on that one. Personally, I'm so, it's hard for me to say the word consultant, but I know it's a necessary thing. And then, sorry, we'll add the Hargrave discussion, and Mr. Shohan, if you'll bring back the absolute software information that Mr. Smith was asking for.
Yes.
Anything else?
I was also thinking about maybe to start also prior to meeting the consultant, also get a list of things that we're looking for as well, besides what will be in the what we will gather from the surveys. I think we should also be coming with a list of things that we're looking forward to come out of that. And by then, I'm sure people can do homework or see what they think that, or what we get between now and then as board members or Reverend Mr. Shohan and whoever else get to bring back to add to the list to start a running list.
Okay, so just put that on there too, Robin, that we're going to have update to the list of wants and needs, maybe.
Yep, sounds great.
And we need to pick a day for September meeting.
Yeah, so this is the second Monday.
Yes, how about September 15th at 4 o'clock?
I don't have a conflict.
Sounds good.
Okay, September 15th at 4 o'clock. All right, if there's no further business, we can, anyone else, anything else? Going once, going twice? Adjourned by unanimous consent? All right, thank you all for coming. Mr. Shohan, thanks for your time. Thank you, Colonel Geyer and William, Mr. Smith for coming as well. Appreciate it.